Hello and welcome to Improbable Things. I'm J. Grace Pennington and this is my podcast where I share 6 improbable things before breakfast. And normally I try to do this earlier in the week on Monday or Tuesday, but actually I've been waking up a little bit later, and by late I mean closer to 7. Normally I've been getting up around 4 or 5 a.m. just because I couldn't sleep, and that's when I've been doing this. So haven't had as much time in the mornings, but honestly that's okay with me. I can find another time to record and I need the sleep. But anyway, managed to find time for it this morning, so let's dive in. So number 1 is really exciting. I refinished Firmament Eleftheria, which is the 7th book in the Firmament series. And if you've been following my journey on this one, you know that I started it back in 2017 and then had a lot of long stops and then starts. And then in October, I really pushed through and finished it, only to lose the progress I'd made in that spurt of writing, about 6,000 words, just completely lose beyond retrieval, and that was so demoralizing. I've had a really hard time getting myself back into it, but I swore I was going to finish it this month and got it in at the last minute. I finished it in, I think, 6 days, so that was about 1,000 words a day to do. And it was, I have to say, it was very hard while I was doing it, just because it was, I don't know, it just the headspace I was in. I had to keep telling myself that I just had to pretend I was doing it for the first time, because it's not even that it was really that hard. I mean, I knew everything that needed to happen. It was just, I was so unmotivated just because of the knowledge that I've already done this once and I'm starting again from scratch on this section. So I basically had to keep telling myself, just pretend it's for the very first time. Just pretend that you never wrote it and lost it before. That was the only way I could press on, but I did it. And I do think, in all honesty, it probably is better the second time around, but it was still not fun, and I'm glad to be done with it. So yeah, that is my exciting news. And number 2, I need to start thinking about the steps to publish it, because I do want to try to get it published this year. It's been so long since I had a Firmament book out, and I really want to get this one out to my readers. So there's a lot of steps to go through. I need to find some good beta readers. I need to rewrite it, and then I need to start talking, although probably even before that I should start talking to my cover designer, because he has a job and kids, and he will need plenty of time to work it in to his schedule, I'm sure. I need to talk to my editor, get in touch with my formatter, all those things, and just see when we can all coalesce and get this done. So in a perfect world, I'd love to get it out in the summer, but we'll just see. I don't want to put anybody in a rush, including myself. So we'll just see. But I think this one's going to be a really fun one. There's something happening in it that I've had several people tell me they really want to happen for several books now. So you'll just have to wait and see. So number 3, of course, what always happens, because I've been immersed in this world, and it's been a while since I really have, it just makes me fall in love with it again and want to stay in it longer, and just makes me fall in love with these characters, because cheesy as it may sound, they really are like friends to me. I love them so much. I love writing them. I love, chronicling their stories, and I want to spend some more time with them now, even though I had such a hard time with this last one. Plus, again, the next one is one that I'm really excited about and I've been looking forward to for a while. So I'm kind of thinking I may not wait too long before starting a first draft of the next one, which I need a little break, but honestly, it hasn't been that hard to fit writing in. Now that I feel like I've found a good way to set goals for myself. And so I'm thinking, sometime soon I'd like to get started on that one. And if I could get that draft done pretty quickly, it would be really encouraging, because it really has been discouraging the last few years to not be able to, I guess, get myself, to push forward with this series very much, because I do love it and I do want to get it out to readers. And so if I could make some really good progress on it this year, that would be super encouraging. So number 4, my goal, I think I've mentioned again this year, is to read 50 books. So that works out to about at least 4 books a month, of course, with a couple, extra weeks thrown in. So I managed to read 6 books in February, which is, I'm sorry. So I managed to read 6 books in January, which is, of course, a great start. And it's always encouraging to get ahead right away, which is why I try to put shorter books earlier if I can, because if I'm behind right away, it's just more discouraging. So got 6 books in, and that was great. I've already finished 2 books in February also. Of course, I started them before February, but that's still pretty encouraging. So 8 books out of 50, which is not bad. So we'll see what the rest of this month holds. I have at least my book club book and hopefully a few more to get in. The number 5, as far as currently reading, one of the books I just finished is the book Heat Wave by Richard Castle. And it's kind of a joke because Richard Castle, if you don't know, is not a real person. He is a writer on a TV show. And the book is just kind of a joke book. And now it has a little bit of a history to it too. My parents used to watch the show Castle, and so my dad had given my mom the book kind of as a joke. It's more fun to just like have it on the shelf. I don't think either of them really ever read it. And then I guess they were getting rid of some books, and my dad asked me if I wanted it. And I'd seen a little of the show, but it was never streaming anywhere, so I hadn't watched much of it. But I said sure, I would take it. So I took it, but I didn't really have much of a desire to read it, but it's pretty short, so I thought maybe someday. And then there was one time toward the end of last year, I was really discouraged just about some things that were going on, and I looked over at my bookshelf and saw that book, and I was just like, I'm going to read that stupid book. Like, it's really short, it's a mystery, I like mysteries, like, I'm just going to do it. So I picked it up and started reading. And as far as the book itself, it was not very good. It just fell flat. Like, again, it's mostly a joke book. It almost felt like an episode of the show, but not as good. It was fine. I mean, I read the whole thing, but I was not that intrigued, and the characters were like less developed versions of the show characters and had almost a fan fiction-y feel to it. So, I mean, it was fine, but it's not like I would recommend it or anything. But here's the really funny thing. So that happened, and then literally less than a week later, this show, Castle, came on streaming for the first time ever. Like, I'd been waiting like years and years for that to happen, and it never had. So, I'm not saying I made it happen, but it's just very interesting. Like, really, what are the odds? So I just thought that was really funny, but don't really recommend the book. It was just whatever. But now I can say that I've read it. So number 6, just the process of reading books this year and thinking about what I'm going to read next has me thinking about how to choose what to read. And I used to struggle with this so much that it would kind of paralyze me from reading because I could not decide. I don't know about you, but I'm someone that if I don't have a reason for a decision, it's almost impossible for me to make a decision. So I can't just be like, which of these books to read? I'll just pick this one. I have to be like, well, which one's the best one and which one, like I have to have a reason or I get kind of decision paralysis, I guess. I don't know. But so I would finish a book and then I would not be able to decide what to read next. And I would just really struggle with that. So finally, out of desperation, I started just deciding I would just read across my bookshelf. So I just start on the, upper left and go across and down. And what's funny is I've kind of continued that, but what normally happens is I'll be doing that, but then a lot of times there will pop up, some reason I need to read some other book, like either it's book club book or maybe I'll see a book and I'm like, oh, I really need to, maybe if it's like a Christian living book or something, I'll be like, I need encouragement in that area right now. So I need to read that or whatever. Maybe it's a parenting book I really need or something. So a lot of times something will come up that's a reason to read something else. And so I'll do those. But then what's happened is in reading across my bookshelf, I'm looking at my main bookshelf right now, and it has, 6 shelves. I'm still on the very top shelf. I still have not gotten all the way across it because I keep getting interrupted by other books, which is totally fine with me. It's not like the system matters. It's just that if there's not another book that I specifically need to read, I need a way to choose. So once I'm done with